January 18th to order at 7:03. All board members are present with the exception of Board Member Barrington. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Board, first up on the agenda is the approval of minutes from November 15th of 21 and January 3rd of 2021.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the minutes as printed from November and January, please.
I'll second.
The motion is made by Board Member Rivero, seconded by Board Member Hendricks. Rivero?
Aye.
Pogue?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
That you? You're good. Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Hefta?
Yes.
And those pass unanimously. Item number 4, public comment. Anyone in the audience wishing to make a public comment before the Parker Authority for Reinvestment Board, you can do that in 3 ways. Either come up to the podium here in the room. You can do that via email to the town clerk's office by 5 o'clock or on Zoom. Do we have anybody in the room wishing to make public comment? Seeing none. Chris, do we have anybody online?
Is there anyone in Zoom that wishes to make a public comment on the PAR agenda? Raise your hand. There are none.
Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to item number 5, resolutions. First resolution, number 2022-01, a resolution establishing a designated public place for the posting of meeting notices as required by the Colorado Open Meeting Law. Director Fazell, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. So this is our annual public posting notification resolution. The public posting location is the same as the town here at Town Hall, right outside the bulletin board. We also do post them online.
Excellent. Board, any questions for Director Fazell?
No, Mr. Chair.
Over here. Seeing none, do we need to open this for public? Okay, so we'll open it up for public comment. Any member of the public wishing to make a comment on resolution 2022-01? All right, seeing none, I'll close public comment at 7:06. Council will entertain any further comments or a motion.
I move to approve resolution number 2022-01, please.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Motion was made by Board Member Rivero, seconded by Board Member Hefta. Rivero?
Aye.
Pogue?
Aye.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes unanimously. Item number B, resolution number 2022-02, a resolution approving the exclusive negotiating agreement between the Parker Authority for Reinvestment and Confluence Companies, LLC. Director Fazell?
So this resolution and the attached ENA, the exclusive negotiation agreement, is in relation to the Mainstreet parcels. So for those who aren't familiar, in 2018, Town Council and the PAR Board determined there was 5 publicly owned parcels along Main Street that needed to be sold for development and assist with the activation of downtown Parker. 4 of those parcels are owned by the town, and 1 is owned by the Urban Renewal Authority. At that time, the town also granted the Urban Renewal Authority the authority to take these parcels on behalf of the town and get them prepared for marketing and getting them out there for development. So the exclusive negotiation agreement with Confluence Companies is with the Urban Renewal Authority for all 5 properties, including the town-owned ones. This ENA really allows 90 days of exclusivity to Confluence Companies to develop concept plans on these sites, so that would allow them to do all the site due diligence they need to do, feasibility, and then work with staff to come up with concept plans. After that 90 days, if we have concept plans, we will bring them forward to the PAR Board and Town Council to discuss further and next steps. If we're not there, we do have the ability to extend the agreement for no more than 90 days, but that will be also determined based on direction from Town Council and the PAR Board. There are no costs associated with this for the town or the PAR Board. as we are having concept plans determined. Any next steps, should we decide to sell these properties and fully move forward with development, would occur at a later date. They are not written into this agreement at this time. Tony DeSimone from Confluence Companies is also here this evening. If you have questions for he or I, we're happy to answer those for you.
Well, does Mr. DeSimone want to make a comment after we ask our questions of you?
Sure.
Okay, so great. So our board, here's how we'll go. We'll ask our staff comments. We'll have the, not really the applicant, but the future contractee come up and make some comments. We'll have a chance to ask some questions of him, open it for public comment, and then come back to the board for review. So in terms of questions to the director, Board Member Hefta, any questions?
Yes. Just could you give us a little bit more detail of this 90-day period of what, give
Sure.
us some items of what will be done during the 90-day period?
So during the 90 days, we will not be negotiating with any other developers or firms. The properties will not be on the market during that time. That's the exclusivity period. With the site development, that will allow Confluence to look at the sites, do all the needed background studies, make sure that there's not anything bizarre happening with the land that we know of that would prohibit future development or costs. Allows him to also determine if it's feasible for development for his firm. And then in conjunction with staff, develop conceptual site plans on how these sites will be developed, what it could look like going forward.
Board Member Dyak, any questions?
Thank you very much. Yes, the only question, what happens if 90 days isn't quite enough? Does staff have the ability to continue this without coming back before the board?
We would come back to the board to ask if we're okay renewing it, but the agreement itself can be renewed by the executive director for no more than 90 days. It could be 15, it could be 20. We just don't know that yet. We're really targeting 90 days, and I think staff and Confluence feels comfortable that that should give us ample time to come back with something great.
Thank you.
Okay. Board Member Hendricks?
No questions.
Board Member Pogue?
Yes. In this discussion with this contract, have you expressed to this company the issues that the citizens of Parker have had in the past on 2 of the sites?
Can you be more specific? Because
Pine
we
Curve
have
and the Pace parking area.
we have shared all the my Mainstreet information, and he has read through all public comment that has been associated
That was not part of my
with it.
Mainstreet information. It was part of public outcry with future or past development plans. Have you shared that with them?
I guess I'm not clear what specifically you're asking if I shared with them. I've shared the whole history, including that there was an tried to get stuff on the ballot and everything. So
That's what I'm asking.
Okay, is that the specific issue?
History has been presented.
Yes, we
or
have
has
presented
what's
and
been
been very-
presented been rather myopic.
no, ma'am, we have been as honest as we can be.
And Board Member Pogue, you'll have a chance to ask him those questions too.
Okay.
To
Well,
validate.
I just need to know that it's been addressed.
Yep, absolutely. Board Member Rivera?
Thank you, Director Weldy. Actually, in a roundabout way, Cheryl got my question answered. I guess during this 90 days, Mr. DeSimone and his team can look at the qualifications and the boundaries that the citizens and then this council has set upon those parcels and decide whether or not they'll pencil it during this time also, correct?
Absolutely.
So we're going to put our wishes in front of a very good developer, a regional developer, and say this is what the town as a whole has decided we're looking for. And Mr. DeSimone and his team's going to look at these parcels, try to fit those in. If they work, then maybe we could build something wonderful. And if not, we'll start over. Correct?
Correct.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Board, any other questions for the Director? Mr. DeSimone, would you like to come forward? If you would, please state your name and address for the record, and then whatever comments you'd like to make. But you're going to get questions too, so you know.
Okay, thank you. My name is Tony DeSimone. I live at 2655 Bearsden Drive in Sedalia.
Excellent.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Weldy, and thank you, Town Council. Weldy had asked that I just come introduce myself and our company, and so I just want to give you a little bit of background to understand our approach. So I'm originally from New Jersey, a graduate of West Point, and had the opportunity to serve in the United States Army for 12 years as an Army engineer, completing projects globally into Kuwait and Iraq. Had a great experience, had an opportunity to move back to Colorado, where I was first stationed at Fort Carson. My wife's family homesteaded in Castlewood Canyon in 1860s, so I understand history of Colorado and the growth that we've seen. But we also understand how to get deals done and do the right thing. So as I mentioned, I'm one of the 3 owners of Confluence Companies. My partners, Tim Walsh and Matt McBride and myself, all have big company experience, Mortensen, G.E. Johnson, Toll Brothers. And we now have the opportunity to do it for ourselves and put the effort where we think it's important. And so we've taken that experience and we've done something different as a development company. The first big thing is we're vertically integrated, which is atypical in the development world. So we're a developer, a builder, a property manager. And when we look to develop properties, we do it with a long-term vision in mind. We own our assets, most of them long-term. So what you'll see is they're high quality and they're low maintenance. As a company, we have almost 100 employees now, and we've done that with a culture of caring. And we select only a handful of projects a year that meet our expectations of really creating a special place. And every project that we select, the 3 owners of the company are involved in every detail of that project to ensure its success. So 6 years ago, we made it a company and personal mission to redevelop downtown Castle Rock. And we work with their EDC, their DDA, and their town council to deliver all the different uses that the town wanted to see in their downtown. And number 1 on the list was restaurants. But it's difficult to just deliver restaurants by themselves. So we did that with mixed use, and that was the vehicle to make it all happen. Mixed use is messy. Lenders hate it because it's complicated. Most of the uses are not viable on their own, so you need that residential component to subsidize it and make it viable. We understand that. We understand how to make that happen. So 6 years later, we've now invested $147 million into downtown Castle Rock. What that's done is brought 354 new residential units. 124 of those are for sale condominiums, which is very atypical in the suburban market in Colorado. 80,000 square feet of commercial space and 5 new restaurants have now been delivered to downtown. The best part of that is 62 new businesses now call downtown Castle Rock home, and many of those businesses now own the real estate that's underneath their business. That opportunity wasn't there before. And for the town of Castle Rock, they'll now see $33 million in property and sales tax over the next 25 years. And that's the delta from what was there before. So I had the opportunity to meet with Bo and Weldy and look at some of the opportunities. To me, there's a ton of potential here, but it's going to take a creative developer that's responsible to make it happen. I think the approach of just listing things and hoping you'll get what you want, I don't believe that's the right approach, and I think you'll have to incentivize the things that you want to see. And so we're excited to take a look at it, and so we appreciate the opportunity. So with that, I'll leave it for questions.
Excellent. Board, I'll start with Board Member Hefta.
I'm going to pass to go to the end. Thank you, Mr.
You're going to
Mayor.
go to the end?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know she's a retired Army colonel, right? So she heard West Point. She's got a list now for you.
Okay.
Board Member,
Yes,
Board
ma'am.
Member Dyak.
Thank you, Chair. Tony, I appreciate you coming and considering us, and I'm just hopeful, and I look forward to the drawings and everything that comes with this 90 days. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Board Member Hendricks.
Yeah, no questions, but I remember the tour in Castle Rock a few months ago and was impressed what I saw, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes about these next 90 days.
Thank you.
Board Member Pogue.
Yeah, what is the balance of the portfolio that you have constructed? Commercial, multifamily? What's the percentage ratios?
Gosh, that's a good question. You know, we have completed basically all asset classes from hotel, for sale, for rent, residential, commercial, office. We have our own co-work brand called Craft that's in 3 different locations. I think there's an opportunity for that here, definitely. So, you know, we do just about everything. Primarily, our focus is residential, to be honest, but you know, in this location, I don't think that's an opportunity to do that just by itself. I think what's successful here is doing a mix of uses and answering what the community is looking for, which just reading through some of those things is employment centers, is restaurants, and there's ways to achieve those, but the residential component oftentimes needs to subsidize those things to make them viable. So, you know, for us, it's pretty early on and looking at this, so I think we're excited to see what the opportunities are.
Are you looking at utilization of the Metro District concept to help you finance this?
We are not, no. We
Okay.
typically do not use metro districts.
Good.
Because as a long-term owner, it's just a tax on ourselves, so
Yep.
we try not to do that.
Okay. So my concern and my involvement in the past has been a lot of citizen opposition to multifamily on some of these parcels. Not that they're opposed to some, but a preponderance of multifamily will rise the ire of this community, and I'm concerned about that. Just as an FYI.
Board Member Rivera, questions?
I do not have any questions, just an apology. Mr. DeSimone, not Simone. My apologies.
Board Member Hefta, he's all yours.
So thank you for your service, by the way. It's greatly appreciated to
Oh,
our
thank you.
country. So a little bit more during this time, during the feasibility and the due diligence, do you construct a plan? Do you actually reach out to developers? Do you actually discuss ideas with developers? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, you know, we like to take a collaborative approach and really just kind of, I think the first step is figure out what's missing, what does the community want, and then start, you know, looking at what makes sense, what is good urban planning. You know, some of the things that we did in Castle Rock, as an example, tried to conceal parking, bring the buildings to the front of the street, activate the ground floor with retail. So, you know, just create active zones. And so for us, it's, you know, the 90 days will be mostly discovery, and then we'll present concepts, you know, to Waldy and staff and others, and get input and see what's there.
Yeah, no, downtown Castle Rock is beautiful, and I can appreciate your thoughts on the mixed use, that developers are somewhat unwilling to put standalone restaurants in 2022, as we go forward in time, because of that issue. And so planning properly, the creative concepts of adding in parking and, like you said, putting the parking in the back and making sure that within the mixed use, you have those additional uses. That's something you're focused on as well?
We are. You know, I think a big component that's missing is you need a place for people to live, but more importantly, a place to work. And so I think what makes it vibrant is making it walkable. So can you create an environment where you have a place to live, to work, to do other things, to dine? And that's what has made Castle Rock successful, is you can park your car and you can spend all day there if you want, or live there and never have to get in the car. And so, you know, some of the things that you're seeing with the shift that COVID has happened is people want to be closer to home, have workplaces that are closer to home. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to do more than just residential office for sure. And I think owning a co-work brand, we have the ability to do that, where, you know, to launch a co-work business is not very profitable on its own, but it fits really well into a mixed-use community because it creates that vibrancy and activity that you need. And then the residential subsidizes it to make the rent affordable for people. So it all works together. It's really complicated, but we understand how to do that. So I think that's the benefit that we bring.
Mr. Chair.
I appreciate you taking on this challenge for our town-owned properties, because it does seem like we've been struggling a little bit over the past couple of years to get a solid plan together, not for a lack of trying, but for a lack of someone's company like yourself to step up and to take on this challenge. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Board Member Rivera, question?
Thank you. Sorry, Board Member Hefta. You touched on it, and I think it's important that we hear it as a board. Can you talk about the successes of your co-working space and the vacancy rates, if you lack of the expansion even? Can you talk a little bit about that Castle Rock location, please?
Yeah, when we developed Riverwalk, the level 2 is our office level. It was 35,000 square feet. We really struggled to lease that up from a traditional landlord-tenant lease. And so we went to the co-work model and just dipped our toe in the water. We said, look, we're going to take 8,000 square feet of that. We're going to try to lease it up and see how it goes. After we built it, it took about 3 weeks to lease up. Normally it takes about 10 months. So it shows you there was demand in the market for that smaller office space. And it's not your traditional co-work. It's an office suite that you can lock up and come and go as you please. So you're not sharing a desk or thing like that. We've since expanded it to almost the entire level now. And with that, we've allowed a number of businesses to come to town that would normally not have been, but they're close to home, and it's worked out really well. So I believe the same characteristics are here in Parker as well, that people want to be closer to home, and we've got a ton of people that live and work in the building, and so their commute is taking the elevator down and doing it that way. The next phase, so our Riverwalk development is all for rent. Our next phase was Encore, which was 124 for-sale condos and 30,000 square feet of commercial space. With that, we gave the opportunity for business owners to own the real estate under their business. And so we saw an amazing outreach of people that wanted to own their own space. And so I believe there's a demand here to do that as well. And so if you look at all the different things that we've created in downtown Castle Rock, all those have been done with mom and pop businesses. And so that's how you get that kind of change to happen. And that's what creates a small town feel. The buildings are bigger, and you have to kind of understand that. But what it allows us to do is give opportunities for smaller businesses to be there. The alternative is you take a chain place, and you have plenty of them here, that takes something and they're by themselves and it's not active and it doesn't work as well together. So, but that was our approach, and it's been very successful. The only thing I want to add, it's a collaborative process. So as a council, I would urge you, what you're looking for is a partnership, because these kind of projects are not easy, but you have to work with somebody you trust, that will do the right thing, and it's something that you're in together on. So it's not, as I mentioned, it's not just, hey, let's put this on the market and see who comes along and hope you get what you want, to happen. So
Absolutely.
it's a little bit of give and take, but anyway.
Absolutely.
So
Board, any other questions? Mr. DeSimone, thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this point, I'm going to open up this resolution to public comment at 7:27. Looking for any public comment in the room on resolution number 22-02. Chris, do we have anybody online?
Is there anyone on Zoom that wishes to make a public comment on this item? Please raise your hand. No, there is not.
Okay, with that, we're going to bring it back for the board for any comments or debate. We'll start with Board Member Rivera. Any comments or
Thank you,
debate?
Mr. Chair. Just a few comments. I will say I'm highly encouraged. I have seen the success of Castle Rock, and am always a advocate for local businesses' success, and from what I've seen down there, it's absolutely amazing. I truly appreciate. Again, I'm highly encouraged with the partnership that we've created. I do appreciate the innovative approach that Confluence Companies has as far as trying different things. I mean, business condominiums, if you will, to own your own space within a very successful business is a huge opportunity for businesses, or to be able to incubate in the building that you live in and then move on if you grow, and something I think we've been after. But I will, again, remind council, it is going to be, as Mr. DeSimone said, it's going to be a partnership. We are going to have to be collaborative. We are going to have to bend a little bit, and it may even, look for some investment. And we need to be open-minded to get what we want and what we deserve down in our downtown core. We need to be good representatives. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Great. Board Member Pogue?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but honestly, I view it with trepidation, period.
Okay. Board Member Hendricks?
I'm encouraged, and I'm looking forward to seeing options and getting us into the 21st century. So thank you.
Board Member Dak?
Thank you, Chair. No, the only thing in looking back and reflecting upon the many iterations we've had with the My Mainstreet and before is the lack of cohesiveness. I think we truly wanted a partner. We truly wanted a collaborative situation, but we just didn't seem to get that. We looked at individual deals with individual parcels. We looked at a person who was going to come in and try to be a partner, but that never materialized. So again, hopeful and looking forward to what this next 90 days brings us, to be redundant. Thank you.
Board Member Hefta?
Again, thank you, Mr. DeSimone, for offering up your expertise and hopefully bringing us all together in the future for the betterment of Parker. Again, not that many residents know or understand that these are town-owned properties downtown, and one is PAR-owned, and we have limitations on those, and we seek the input of our residents in Parker, Colorado to guide our decision-making. Is a very collaborative process, as Ms. Weldy has engaged in so far with us. And so we're so excited to work with you and your company and see what you can bring us. Thank you.
Great. With that, Board, I'll entertain a motion on resolution number 2022-02.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve resolution number 2022-02, please.
I'll second.
Motion's made by Board Member Rivero, seconded by Board Member Hendricks. This will be a roll call. Rivero?
Aye.
Pogue?
Aye.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 5-0. With nothing else before the Parker Authority for Reinvestment, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Motion made by Board Member